Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everyone. Since we broadcast, they go worldwide and we get different time. We're all in a different time zone. So to some people, this is morning time. Some people, this is evening time. Some people, this is afternoon. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone around the world. Also, we can try to make people realize, in fact, we can make people know, say, this is a live show, an interactive show, where they allow everybody, wherever you may be in the world, if you're listening, to participate and call in, ask questions, send in commentaries or comments. And so this is the kind of show that we're running. So because of that, the greetings is until every time of the day. Now, I want to welcome today's Sunday, July 23rd, 2023. We hope for giving a nice show as usual, and we hope people can go call in and participate. Also for the listeners, I want them to know, say the call lines are open right from the beginning. As soon as we begin for order, we'll pass the introductory stage of this presentation. So if you get a question, please don't hesitate for calling. So let me go straight to my co-host, Mr. Mengot, because I do have a co-host, for when we're familiar with the show, will be on pretty soon. And normally, I don't do any introduction of him because I think he can ably and better introduce himself. So that has been with style, So he will be on the show pretty soon. We also supposed to forget a distinguished guest from Freetown, a member of Parliament by the name of Honorable Abdul Kargbo. He's an APC member, supposedly of Parliament. So we suppose if he could join me today. So we could ask him some few questions so he could give you insight as to the current politics in the country and the mindset of the APC party and what they plan to do. We hope he will tell you how things are going, some of the reasons why they boycott Parliament, because without hearing from people like him, all that is happening will just dip on speculation. And some of the speculations then are just grounded on rumors. They will not even get solid factual basis for put some of the information there. And as a broadcasting operation or medium, we want to make sure we are as close to the source and as accurate as we can be to make sure we not join in giving false information to the public. So because of that, we hope Honorable Abdul Kargbo, connectivity no will get any problem from Freetown since he will be talking to us from Freetown, and that we will hear and clearly, and he will join we soon. So we all go get into what's going on. Now, for today's presentation, besides the Honorable in presence, we get some topics as usual we'll be one for deal with. Some of the topics are, we just say, main, one was that the main concern about the tallying and processing of the result for the presidential election, how the procedure, the process, how then they count, how then they manage to declare who wins, who loses. They will want to ask Honorable Kargbo why would you make him party now exercise the option of going to court because we want for understanding your situation or then your reasoning So then the court also be file some paper, like a letter castigating APC, that claiming that the APC was trying to malign the court system, and the court take opposing views in terms of whether some of the things where APC say about the court is correct. Strangely enough, we have not seen any response by the APC to the court's letter accusing the APC of maligning them. So we need to go into that a little bit, and then we could talk about the parliamentary boycotting. How long would that take place, and how long would that last? Then there's another issue, if we can get to it, about Honorable Mohammed Bangura, where, as far as we know, is the only APC member who is actively in Parliament participating as an opposition, and then say in defiance of in party instruction. So we will try to go through all of that. That said, welcome, Honorable. How are you, sir?
I'm fine.
Honorable,
I'm okay.
Honorable Kargbo, welcome, sir. This is Mohammed Shilon. Nice to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm fine. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir. We are my co-host, Mr. Victor Mengot, should be on board pretty soon. He gets some connectivity problem. Okay, so we'll try to get him on board as soon as possible. Before, so we ask for your little patience. Let me just give some information to the audience in terms of certain phone numbers. So control room, put the phone numbers them so we can. Okay, for those for our listeners them, we all know say we get certain numbers. This is an interactive show. So because it's an interactive show, a live show, we get certain ways we can reach with. So if you call in from a toll-free number, so you call from 866-944-7722. If you're within the United States, you call on a toll-free 866-944-7722. You also, if you call from England, a plus 44 20 80 891455. Again, plus 44 20 80 891455. And if you call from Australia, it will be plus 61 29 09 84 337. Again, from Australia is plus 61 29 09 84 337. And last but not least, if you call on WhatsApp, the number will be 1343 997 5828. 1343 997 5828. So that said, we hope everybody could take the time and listen. And like I say, before the honorable is on the line now, and I better tell the audience for say we're getting the honorable, and the honorable will get quite a few questions for him. So that said, honorable, let me welcome you again, sir. And we'll get a few questions for ask you. What we think will be very enlightening to the rest of we and the other people around the world. One of the main questions is if you can just give me an insight as to why the APC decide for boycott Parliament. And if I'm not phrasing well, you can correct, you can rephrase them. So just give me an idea as to what to make APC decide say they're not going to Parliament, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity I get. I hope you get me clear.
Yes, sir. Very clear. Very clear.
Thank you. Firstly, we get pre-elections activities that will happen. We get elections activities that will happen, and we get post-elections activities that will happen. Well, I'm not going to go into the pre-election activities that will happen. Violence on our membership. I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to go into the fact that APC be prevented in most southeastern region for Lawino campaign. Kono, after they see the crowd, they know say APC don't pull boku crowd na Kono, they open tear gas, fire at people. Ujeun them block the road, say we flag bearer not for enter the presidential candidate, not for enter the fire at them, fire tear gas at them. And we get other places them back like mile 38 or so where they do the same thing, you know. So even prior to the elections, there were a lot of violent cases there. Where they go to APC party office, fire live bullets at the time, we the flag bearer, the presidential aspirant, he did inside the office. The same thing happened at mile 38. The same thing happened, you know, na Puchong, you know. But not so that they all make we know. We're not going to parliament because we want safe democracy. If we allow these elections where ECSL conduct for stand and we go to parliament, the law forget about democracy in Africa and alone in general. Meaning nobody no go campaign again. Nobody no go register again. The only thing you need for win elections, get your commissioners them and the chief electoral commission, get them then you side, and get the chief justice for them you side. All elections to the win. And get to the man them, armed personnel them. All elections to the win at this country. Yeah, because that's how it happens. Me now one of the representatives them na the Northwest Talent Center. The first thing we then do, where they don't give the political parties them the voter register. Remember, the APC in the complaint, then delete names them of people where they na the voter register, then delete their name them up to 250,000 people, and then come then give them people and they sleep. But not so then they are the only name that we then delete. The fearful thing we then do on the day for the elections, the register we then give the political parties them, and the one we then give ECSL staff them, not different register. The political party they register, you go see person in name Didi, in face Didi. But the ECSL register, they don't delete in name, they don't delete in face. So me na my own constituency alone, close to 1,000 people then deprive them, let them not vote. Then get ECSL identity card, voter ID card, where ECSL give them, then get the slip where ECSL give them, and the name then are the register where SLPP gets, then the name then are the register where APC gets, but automatically the ECSL register then delete all the names then they. So even when they get the register, even when they get the ECSL voter ID card, and then get also the slip where they give them, then deprive them, they're not vote during the course of the elections. They're not vote. But that's not too fearful, like what happened at the Talent Center. The Public Elections Act very clear, section 92, 1 and 2. It say then they begin certify the results from district level. How the certification process they gone? Where election they take place now, all the polling stations them, after they don't collect the results now the polling station, then get one form outside and they write every party in results we get. Then call the form result reconciliation form. That's an IRF. Now they then write how much APC get. Now they then write how much SLPP get. And then they distribute them to all the political parties them we present at the polling station. And then they hang one at the polling station. And the ECSL they get one, where then they go with na the tally center. So where we go na the tally center, we think it happen for all the elections the way Salon don't get. Now that way una go na the tally center, everybody they pull a own form. Where ECSL they take one station for enter. Una the political party representatives then call una counting agent. Una did for pull una own form for check if waiting ECSL they put na the database, na the same thing una self gets na una own database. Now so always it happen. Always now so it happen. But for these very elections, they not use projector na any of the tally centers then. So that nobody knows see waiting and they put. So when they go with their own form, what we don't know who side them pull on, how they get them, who side them get them. They know they show nobody the figures the way they na their own form, where then they put in at the tally center. Nobody know they share. Then just they carry the form, then give the IT man, and the IT man input. No political party person, no observer, not see the figures the way then they input. And you remember, this ECSM don't conduct elections. Usai APC get 40, Usai SLPP get 49, then put one before, 149. And then turn and the way they do so, they mean they display the result na projector. So we able to pick them up na the projector. Say, this thing una put, nothing una get. But in the case of this election, no projector they not use. So the essence of even being at the tally center was useless. Because they know they show you waiting in the ad. They know they show you waiting in at the tally center. They know they show you waiting in the input into the system. Now the first time this will get that kind of election day. When nobody know the see waiting in the input. So you don't know this center, if waiting the input na SLPP get it. You don't know if waiting the input na APC get it. So this, if now so elections they happen, na salon, now we forget about registration, now forget about voting. Just get the ECSL staff them where they go input for you waiting they want. And they become president. Why make some of we they stand firm? Now because this country now we only get for left tomorrow. If something can begin happen now, we're correct for democracy. Tomorrow, people then go begin find alternative means for get power other than elections. So long we not reverse the democratic gain where we don't make as a nation through elections. Waiting happen. Now that waiting happen. Now the tally center. Now that me no know for obvious reasons. We mean then at the tally center all along. We mean they all along at the tally center. But they're not ever, they're not show we. They're not ever show we. Waiting APC get at any polling station. They don't ever show we waiting APC get na any police station. Quite apart from Dandy. Last time waiting happen na the station we mean dey. Na Cambia. Last time waiting be happen na with na the station we this the center we mean dey na Northwest. The tally center we mean dey na Northwest. At the time where they announced 60% of the results, 60% of the polling stations now all of the districts. At that time they will not be even collect Cambia resulted. Now the polling station, now the tally center. And Now from the talent center result for Komo, it go na the region. It come on at the region, it go na head office. So now the district force, now the result for Komo. So the Cambia result where they announced 318 stations. We normally get one station it's na Cambia hold on deal with. So outside ECSL pool 318 stations from Cambia where they reach. And interestingly, we asked the ECSL officials, both the district and the regional returning officer. Say, we don't get no station here from Cambia yet. But we see that they announced 318 stations from Cambia. Outside them pull up. On record, in the presence of all international observers, the ECSL staff them, both district for Cambia, Loko, and Kaina, and the regional returning officer. Then tell we plain, they say not to them send results. Na head office. They say because they not get Cambia resulted and they're not satisfied, no resulted. So the results where corner be announced, not from them. That is what they said. And they were recorded while saying that. So it seems as if there have been longer results where they keep, where they mean just the wait for announce, without taking into consideration the votes where people then vote. This is not good for Salon. And it's not ever good for Salon. If this result stand, it means a democracy and elections, it don't die in a Salon, say the world done. Because any other president can use the Electoral Commission, he use the courts, he use armed personnel them for make sure say he gain a power forever. The mere fact say we not ever see no international observer, no local observer, no polling party agent, not ever see waiting and putting at the talent center the disaggregated result by polling station, which is against section 92, 1 and 2 of the Public Elections Act. Now that make we ask them, say, well, una pull now the disaggregated data by polling station we una put inside under. We will not be in the sheet. Una pull am. For pull now, it don't turn problem. And I will tell you why I make it some problem. Each of the stations then, each of the polling stations then, not forget more than 300 votes. And don't forget more than 300 votes. In fact, if you get 300 votes, if it's questionable, because how it will get 100% turnout. But when you add the total number of people where they say vote na the elections, you divide them by the total number of polling stations, you they get an average of each polling station where they close to 350 people will vote for each polling station right across the country. How that go possible? How that go possible? So that clearly tells you, say, for each polling station, over 300, close to 350 people, now they vote. So if they say that they pull this aggregated data now, it will be problem, it will be issue for them. For let them able to reconcile, then overvoting them day for all the polling stations then at the country with the number where they announce. But then they also had the most shocking and surprising thing. Let's tell you what that's the way they do. You know the pattern of voting na Salon. Mostly, if person vote for president, he highly likely say he they vote for councillor for the same party. He they vote for member of parliament for the same party. If people learn, they deviate from that pattern, they na one or two, na slight difference. For Potloko district, for council, local council, SLPP gets about 22,000 votes. For local council, about 22,000 votes. Now ECSLP, SLPP gets. For president, ECSL say SLPP get, President Bio get 27,000. So it still say now the entire district, 5,000 people did not vote for SLPP at council level, but voted for President Bio. 5,000 people. But that may not talking. For the same Loko district, close to 61,000 people voted for SLPP for MP. So it means over 30,000 people, 35,000 people and 33,000 people did not vote for President Bio, did not vote for the council, but voted for SLPP in parliament. Over 30,000. It's unrealistic, it's unimaginable, it's not possible. That is why ECSN no one released the disaggregated data by polling station. Now we see how that voting they take place. So to me, as young politician coming up, and so we all na salon, this na the term for safe democracy. Salon don't suffer 11 years rebel war. People then shed them blood for now get democracy. They like today. So if we they see ECSL they abuse democracy, it will be worrisome to everybody will like this country. It will be worrisome to everybody will like this country. Because tomorrow, like I say, for go register is not important. For go verify is not important. For go vote self is not important. Just get your results, you keep them. They're ready for announce the results where you get. All and they not even then they all not even shocking. Let us go further for disclose some of the other things them will happen during these elections. Now that make the young people the way they appoint themselves for think. Say Salon forbidden priority. This country forbidden priority. They not forbid a party to a democratic coup. They not forbid a party to Dandy. They not forbid a party to Dandy. They not forbid a party to Dandy. You see, and ECSL make the announcement there. They make the announcement there. The Public Elections Act, subsection 2, say them forgive we copy. It said them forgive we copy of the result them. Now the tally center. Outside, they don't ever agree copy. Now, let's use this other illustrative example. Let's take for example Falaba district. In Falaba district, when ECSL read the result from member of parliament, ECSL say na 55% voter turnout, 9 then get for member of parliament. 55% voter turnout, 9 then get for member of parliament. The way it comes to presidential, they say they get 90% voter turnout for presidential. When everybody will go vote, then they give you one slip for councillor, one slip for presidential, one slip for parliament, one slip for the council. How comes it possible for like a 90% voter turnout for president? Then you get 55% voter turnout for parliament. Now that make we say we want to see the disaggregated result where they hide per win at the tally center, where they not show nobody in at the tally center. That make we say we want to see them. Now it's no more able to, and I'll tell you, if ECSL able to get the district result when they announce it, now the polling station result, now enforcement they get. Now they collect for let them get the district result. So if we they ask for the polling station result, it's for even easy for ECSL for produce than the district result where they produce. So because without the polling station results, you know they ever get district result. So with democracy, Nasalo, we all for be worried. We all for be torment. We all for be concerned. If we members of parliament, we take we foot there, we go inside parliament with this result, it means that we have now accomplished. So this election fraud. I hope someone had to get me.
Yeah, very clearly, very clearly.
Yeah, that means that we shall not accomplish to this election fraud. So the simple question what we don't ask is ECSL. Una produce the disaggregated data by polling station. Now we compare them with what we get. Now we RRF. Now we know whether not the same. Now they will begin first. Because we don't want to tolerate any other government in the future for just can't announce what they want. That the democracy where people are fed for, where life then go for. And we have the destroy so. So we're not going to parliament now because we stand firm for democracy. At least in some civil society activists then. Of course, they're unfortunate. They're not sympathetic. They're not like this country. They're not patriotic. Now because government don't take money, they don't give it. Then they say, you should love your country, unity, this, that. Look, SLPP where they talk about unity. Una they talk about unity, una burn houses them belonging to APC supporters na bo. And now una they talk about unity. Una they talk about unity. Una pour acid on APC supporters and a put down. Una they talk about unity. Una beat the APC aspirants na Kaila broken hand, almost busting eye. Una vandalize the APC office. Una they talk about unity. Una prioritize governance than even human life. It's not the questions that we would ask. So if we not go to parliament, now because we're not convinced with the result announced by ECSL, and not so we no more new don't make them very clear, and we see other international observers that don't make them clear, all the embassies, the British High Commission, the US Embassy, the Irish Embassy, the French Embassy, the German Embassy, they all unanimously don't ask ECSL for the disaggregated data. The Qatar Center don't ask ECSL for the disaggregated data. APC don't ask ECSL for the disaggregated data. If ECSL want let government function, let them release the disaggregated data. Let them release the disaggregated data. Why the disaggregated data don't turn bone at all? So if I can answer your question, why we not enter parliament? Now this make because we have issues with the results announced, and we not see waiting they enter, and we want see and confirm waiting they enter whether or not the same with which we get before ever we go inside parliament.
All right. Make a ask follow-up question on that. When Unasise thinks, because all this not just happened the day of election, which you complain about so. It seems like when I get beaucoup or ample, overwhelming, convincing, clear and convincing evidence that there was not only irregularities, but actual fraud but involved in the operation of the elections. But the other question, the other side to the question when I asked first about the parliament is why would I not decide for going to court? Why would I waive on a right for going to court? I just want, I think I know the reason, but let me hear it from you. Then I could give a follow-up question. Because it looked like when I waive on a right, there was a thing about a 7-day objection or going to court that APC decided not to. You can address that side for we, sir?
Yes, in fact, not so now APC don't begin go court. APC initially had total confidence and faith in the court. 2018 results, we go with an accord. 2018 results, we go with an accord. The waiver with the back of the hand. Remember, when SLPP petition we MPs there. We say petition SLPP MPs there. Nothing not come out today. In fact, we 10 MPs the way they remove the court now a contributing factor. Because the constitution very clear. It says for petition cases, they should not exceed 4 months now the court after the elections. So only one the way they've been petitioned now the 2018 election. The court for don't deal with them cases then 4 months after the elections. But here we have the Supreme Court rule against the Constitution. They say no, we they continue for deal with them. After 1 year, now they then pull 10 MPs then from the opposition. Then pull 10 MPs then. And the Constitution is also clear. Where vacancy exists, by-election must be conducted. And even before you conduct the by-election, you forgive 14 days window for any appeal. If somebody want appeal, you forgive 14 days window if they want appeal. But here we are, the court rule against Dandeback. He said, no, we need to get by election. The SLPP there, where they can second, let them can take the place then. Who side and they happen? This is not the first parliament in the history of Salon where all the man they were lost election, bruh. Now they then go give the seat. And at the court now because they wanted state capture on all independent institutions, including the courts. So the courts don't they aid SLPP for do all waiting they want. The courts now remove there we MPs there and replace a lot of waiting happen. For time say there is coordination between the courts and SLPP. The day where the court for go give the final verdict, the Chief Justice not see do it. Supreme Court not see do it. They all not see do it. SLPP don't prepare. Then 10 MPs then for swear there in Parliament. Who side then get the information? Say APC they can lose, then sit there, then they can rule against APC. Why didn't they wait for the appeal period? Why didn't they conduct by election as stated in the Constitution for where vacancy exists? What the SLPP be want? Now follow go na court. And the courts now they legitimize now this government. Now the courts they say now, oh, this election is free and fair. Case we don't settle long, bam. This case is closed. So if the case closed, nobody not get case again with this election. And what's bad, if you read the TRC report, the courts now one of the contributing factors where people have lost confidence and trust in the courts, in the judicial system. Now one of the things that Nandi will damage we country through rebel war. Because people they say, no, but I don't go waste me time in the court. Because they rule against me. If the courts rule against me, I not ever get case again. The court don't legitimize them. MPs they not for say again, they not they go to Parliament. Because they not get case. The court don't rule, the court don't give the power. Now I make us say Salon go turn like a country where if you get the judiciary, you get ECSN, you get the military, bam, power is yours forever. Power is yours forever. So APC lost trust and faith in the court system. Now that make we not go to court.
Okay. Let me acknowledge the presence of my co-host, Mr. Victor Mengot. And Mr. Mengot, welcome. And of course, I'm sure you hear some of what Honorable Abdul Kargbo do explain to we. Do you get any question at this point for post to Ram? Because I get one or two more I want for ask him.
Well, thank you very much, Brother Mohammed. I've been listening to him. Okay. And I actually listened to all the reasons why he said they not go court. So in that case, if they not decide for go court, right, and waiting na the next move, because he mentioned issues about the international community, the embassies. We know they are very diplomatic in their response. Waiting they already say, they now say, okay, they are not convinced. The last part of the results, the tallying and all the thing. So how can we resolve these differences of not going to court and the ECSL doing the right thing? So waiting, what would be the next step?
It's clear. Nobody should be happy that we have a one-party parliament. Nobody should be happy that we have a one party in the country. Every Democrat must be sincerely concerned that now one party no more we get now this country. Every Democrat will be sincerely concerned. The only thing we go make Salon get two parties in a parliament, APC go back in a parliament. It's simple. Tell ECSL for publish the disaggregated data by polling station. That is our request. It's very simple. Very simple. We request not big. Let ECSL publish, waiting they collect. Because we don't see them. We don't know. By right, now the polling station, we for sign. We for sign the paper, say yes. All waiting and collect now. Now we RRF them. But then they not happen. So in the absence of that, let ECSL, so we waiting the ad. Forget the results we didn't get to. That is our simple concern. That is our simple interest. So the insistence of ECSN not for produce the disaggregated data by polling station, they raise more suspicion on ECSN.
Okay, what if they refuse to do that? Let's say they not agree to it. What's in the next move? I'm just playing the devil advocate here.
APC na a big party, na a strong political institution. Like I say, we get different organs of the party. The party can sit down again for decide say yes, now this we they do, now this we they do. For all reach at Usa we do so, now an organ of the party, the second most highest organ, the second highest organ, now the party, now in decide. For all reach Usa we reach so. So any side we reach, then go summon a meeting also and decide and determine with the consultation of the people and determine who side next way they go.
Okay, thank you very much. Brother Mohammed, you can go ahead with the question.
Yeah, yes, Honorable. Okay, this request when I asked for the disaggregated paper for ECSL for producing, where they seem to be so reluctant for produce. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Couldn't you people go to court for compare? Now, I know say we don't get confidence in the court, but just for create the record, why not go to court and the same request so you make so? Compel, ask the court for compel ECSL. All the courts fit to the fire because they make the court get away with a lot of things. Me self not getting any confidence in the court system, but it is what it is. So why would I not go still? I don't think it's too late, or maybe it is too late because I don't know what in the statute call for. But when I can go in a court and ask the court to compel ECSL for produce then results than they when I say ECSL, because ECSL should not have the absolute power to do as they please. There should be regulation with the govern and conduct. But it seems like in this particular instance, everything I listen to you say, ECSL not only they not only fail to follow the rules, but then they do as them please. So my question simply is, with all the lack of confidence we want to get in the court system, but it is what we have. If for no other reason, let history and posterity and the record reflect that we not pursue all avenues, we not try all options, you not exhaust all remedies. So my question again, why wouldn't you people still go to court and ask the court to compel ECSL to come up with that information there? Because the court get the power. They can make themselves useless. If they choose to do that, let them do that. You see, because the court is at liberty to portray themselves as useless. But
yes,
una do what you want to do for them.
the party no get confidence, a single iota of confidence in the judicial system. And in fact, you ask any SLPP person, all the one now for the APC go court. All SLPP person, all the one now for the APC go court. As if there be no right already, the ruling of the court, then they keep on for wait for APC for justify this result we just come out. Now let me hear you ask yourself, without court, it is enough for produce to public, then vote the way they want. It's enough for do am. It's enough for make people see waiting and college.
They're supposed to. ECSL is supposed to do that, but when they refuse, would I go force them? Shouldn't the courts be asked to force the hand? Let me question now and then. ECSL not get the power, but then they exercise power where they not get.
I will tell you, say, even when the constitution say 4 months after elections, they're not for deal with no petition. This court, it rule against the constitution. Then take decision 1 year, over 1 year. Even when the constitution say where vacancy exists, by election must be conducted. This court, they rule against the constitution. Whose confidence again will forget by this court?
Okay, Honorable, I interrupt you. With all due respect, I want to take one call. Then we'll get back to you. Hello, caller. What's your name? Who's you call from?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. This is Boy Jalo Jamboria speaking from Norway.
Thank you, Mr. Jaboria.
Democracy
nice hearing from you.
Is about the people. Political parties are institutions representing the membership from across the populace. The decisions of the party is normally given to the executive, but certain decisions they will be taken by the people. I am very sure what in Honorable Abdul Kargbo explained so. And now they only talk about what in the APC as an executive they think of. And therefore take back into consideration and respect the wish of the membership of the All People's Congress Party. One thing we get for stop in us alone, this how for do mentality, law go offer. Because now take we to the first war. Things we are going wrong, people and say how for do. Say state capture kind side, other things kind side, institutions then collapse. And the same process now they go on so. If certain institutions they go against the constitution for their own wish, and they forget say the constitution they represent the mandate of the people of the Republic of Sierra Leone. If one set of social group within the country, the APC political party, when a very large political party, not get confidence in the judiciary, then they have no business going there. Let them talk to the membership. Let the membership say, okay, we'll go advise law, do this, do this. These people wanted a one-party state. They've got it. Because if APC go in a parliament or not, we still have a de facto one-party state. Now they don't distribute the seats them. APC voice in a parliament, I mean nothing. They just go talk bad name, say, you were there when we took this decision. So the option is the APC should stay out of parliament until ECSL do what for do law proof, say yes, now so the election results go. And I want to advise Honorable Abdul Kargbo, the APC need for Sidon begin decide voting for do for take care of the elected members them at all levels. The parliamentarians, the councillors, the mayors, the chairmen, etc. If there is need, let us have a party consensus where the members they will go to contribute money from the diaspora for pay on our wages. Una stay out. Enough is enough of this rubbish. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for calling, sir, Mr. Jamboria. As usual, we always appreciate your contributions and comments. So let me go back to the Honorable. I don't know if the Honorable remember the stage at which he was when I interrupt him and say, I want to take a call. Honorable, if you do, you can take off where you left off. If you don't, I might just ask. Well, one question I want to also ask you. There was this popular percentage of 11.9. Can you shed light on this 11.9%? How was that the basis used for project President Bio as the winner without going the second round? What are you understanding? Because to me, it's still very confusing. Where did they get the 11.9% from?
The 9, not for presidential. The 11.9 now for member of parliament. You get me?
Yeah.
You get me?
Yes.
The 11.9 are for member of parliament. In the district block system, before you qualify for get seat, you forget 11.9 of the total votes, of the total valid vote cast now the district, before you qualify for get seat. So the 11.9% now each political party where they exist now each district, before they qualify for get seat, then forget that 11.9. So the 11.9 not for member, not for presidential, now for member of parliament. So if even you get 10%, like for example, let we say if the total people away for vote, now 10,000 people for vote, now put Loko district, assumably 10,000 people, 1,000 people, now 10%. So even if 1,000 people vote for your party no get right for get seat now for Loko district because you not reach 11.9. So pass on to be 1,000 to 1,100 and 1,000, or let's say 1,190 people or so before it be 11.9%. Before ever you get right for get seat. So the 11% has got nothing to do with the presidential, now for council. Then also la correct this. I see na me title when I say APC MP elect. Correct? Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We're listening.
Yeah, indeed. Naso Putam. Yeah. Yes, you're correct.
There is nothing like MP elect, Nasalot. You become a member of parliament the day you are elected. You are a member of parliament. If una read section 83, it says una say every member of parliament for subscribe to the oath before they take the seat of parliament. But even without the oath, they can participate in the election of the speaker. So how you go participate in the election of the speaker when you're not a member of parliament? Then if you go na 79, it say every member of parliament where they participate in the speaker election, then for ensure say they get a 2/3 majority vote in the elections the way that they do. So the constitution don't refer you to a member of parliament, even when you not subscribe to the oath. So not all the oaths they make you member of parliament. So there is nothing like member of parliament elect. We are members of parliament the day we are elected. So if you say elected member of parliament, you correct. Not all the oaths they make you member of parliament. In fact, members of parliament are begin to pay salary on the day they are elected, not on the day they subscribe to the oath of parliament. No, not all the oath. The oath they help for guide you for do you work in a parliament, for take your seat and do you work inside parliament. So there is nothing like MP elect.
So you either an MP. Now I just wanted some minor clarification. So from the day you are proclaimed elected, you become a member of parliament, regardless of whether you're sworn in or not. Okay.
Yes, you become a full member of parliament. That is why you even can take part in the speaker's election without subscribing the oath. Read 83. You dey take part, you dey vote for speaker without you not take the oath in parliament. Then also, when you go to 79, it refers to now always the vote for the speaker as members of parliament. Even though now the constitution say that even if you not take the oath, you dey vote for the speaker. It refers to now all. It not say those who have subscribed the oath of parliament now they are the member of parliament. No, whether you subscribe or you not subscribe, you are a member of parliament.
Okay, but Shilon, I just want to ask the Mr. Kargbo something. I mean, what I I'll ask you now, before we go on this PR system for member of parliament, we will get MPs dedicated to constituency according to number. Like I think say your constituency will be 077, not so?
Yeah? Yes, correct.
Okay, now,
yes, correct.
Under the district block system, right? Now a list them put. So let's take put Loko away come up for instance. SLPP according to Kane, now almost sits then again put Loko.
Well, the MP then give themselves almost 61 votes. So then take 4 seats. Then for the council, then give themselves votes.
Okay, almost seats APC gets. APC get how many seats they get?
She gets 6, then take 4. We're very much
okay, so 10.
Realistic, not possible. Never
okay,
possible.
No, the question I ask now 4 and 6, and we will not get the constituency. Members they go represent constituencies now. So it means the members that district they I go allocate them to constituencies. Then a bit confusing using the PR system. Let's assume say now. So how we address that?
In fact, if una mean the listen interviews them prior to the PR system, this is now one of the disadvantages of the PR system. In the PR system, not by constituency. Let me give you illustrative example as to what happen now. In Loko, SLP people aspirants day. APC back pool aspirants day. So just now Loko one constituency, now 2 members of parliament them don't go to parliament. In Kafubulom, APC pool 2 aspirants. SLP people SLP get 1 MPD, APC get 2 MPs there. So in Kafubulom, now 3 members of parliament don't go to parliament. In Lonsal, no member of parliament represents them. In Koya, no member of parliament represents them. So you will have. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yes. So you will have members of parliament clustering in one constituency and leaving other constituencies them. So this now one of the disadvantages of the PR system, we make the single member constituency system have been the most appropriate for representative purposes in parliament.
Yeah, I think that's what Mr. Mengot was saying. Is that correct, Mr. Mengot?
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, now if you permit me, I don't know if you get any other issue. I'll go to one of me, as you know, when I talk to you, Honorable, one of me area where I really get interesting is with parliamentary system. And I don't listen to you a lot. And as you know, I'm sure you're aware of Black TV, where they report in the parliament. Now, one of my partners them. And one of the things they were trying for doing for set up this parliamentary watch system. Whereas, you know, if you go on my Facebook page, you'll get over 80,000. I'm of the view where we talk about separation of powers in government. My own view that if we can able to fix parliament, we make parliament independent and give the parliamentarians then the right way they're supposed to forget. Things then will change in this country. I mean, the reason why me and my colleague don't talk here, two things we will observe. One, the fact that president now he get a power for call parliament. Not only that, the president they appoint the clerk of parliament, right? And so many other things the way the executive encroach on parliament. Then more so, the standing orders them. I'll go into that for details. Some of them. And we'll get some, let me review the standing orders. Based on your experience, we then tell we don't talk so between the relationship between the executive and the parliament in terms of the appointment of the clerk and also and other things the way parliament. I mean, just for clarify for our listeners, them parliamentary system is based on the Westminster model, and I was privileged to work in the British Parliament, both in the House of Commons and House of Lords. And the clerk of Parliament, then a career people that we don't go through the ranks of Parliament, we don't serve in the Speaker's office, they don't serve in the Hansard office, they don't serve in the Scrutiny Committee, they don't serve in Ways and Means. So that's the system. So, from your experience in the Fifth Parliament, can you throw some light of how we'll make Parliament better in terms of proceedings, in terms of rule? I'm not saying I get Parliamentary Service Commission. So, what's that you take on this? Okay.
Well, the first thing, for let Parliament to be independent, now the court first get for being independent. You're not going to be able to make Parliament independent without touching the courts. As I say, in 2018, when SFPP just win, there were 68 members of Parliament from the opposition. Now, through the court, they removed 10, replaced them all with SFPP. So, if the court had not intervened, there was going to be no way for let them touch the independence of Parliament. So, the courts, therefore, be very independent. And secondly, the clerk of Parliament, not so a member of Parliament, you know they partake in the decisions of Parliament. You know they decide for Parliament. The members of Parliament then they vote on any question with them pose. Any question with them pose. Now the member of Parliament then they vote. So if we get a steady number of members of Parliament will not either be influenced by the court or ECSL as in this case, then at least the Parliament they able to do Parliament they able to do job. But when you get a Parliament when members of Parliament then now court for determine the composition of Parliament, then it's scary. It's scary. The clerk not they partake, the clerk not they partake in any decision. No bill, no the way they go carry to the clerk they give decision. The clerk now an employee of Parliament. Now an employee of Parliament. The clerk is working for members of Parliament, not the other way around. Not the other way around. So to me, I just feel saying that the independence of Parliament, not for be tampered with by either the Elections Commission, where they announce the composition of Parliament, or the courts. Let them not pull parliamentarian and go put other one back. So basically, that's my opinion.
Well, Honorable, let me just ask you this. Even though the clerk not a member of Parliament, is it true that he's appointed by the president? If so, you not see some impropriety there? The president not forget nothing for do with the appointment of anybody in the Parliament. If Parliament they try to proclaim their independence.
You are right. The clerk should not be appointed by the president, and the clerk should be apolitical, because the clerk serves every member of Parliament. The clerk is not in Parliament for one political party. Now, only Salon with the clerk of Parliament, they wear green, they go campaign, snap back, he put on a Facebook. The clerk should be independent because he is there to serve the members of Parliament. and he therefore also superintend over the staff of Parliament. So the clerk should not be partisan. The clerk should be independent.
So that is
Right.
one. That is one thing we need for really eliminate. If we want Parliament forget absolute autonomy, independence, the president should have, because we talk about three co-equal arms of government: the executive, when the president, the legislature. So the president shouldn't be appointing anybody, whether even if not a driver. President for appoint a driver for anybody in the parliament. This for be within the prerogative of parliament. I hope they will correct that. That's one thing that I think parliament for look into. They will let the president not get nothing for do with the appointment at any level of anybody, because that would just be a wishful thinking. No appointee by the president as a clerk in parliament is going to be independent. It's not practical. It's going to be supportive of, in fact, it's just going to be somebody who is going to take parliamentary secrets and pass them to the president, to the executive. So I think that is a poorly constructed thing, and I think parliament needs to do away with that. Let the parliament itself elect the young clerk or appoint the young clerk or come up with the different means. You know?
I agree with you.
I think we get a caller because I want to continue on this parliament area.
Okay. Hello, caller. What's your name? Who's side you call from? Hello? Hello,
Yeah,
caller.
hello.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. How are you? Yeah.
Pretty good, sir.
Are you getting me?
Yes.
Are you getting me? Yeah. My name is yeah, I'm calling from New Jersey. I've met with you actually before in North Carolina. I have a lot of family people over there, but that's beside the point.
Okay. Thank you.
You see, the issues that you guys are discussing here, my own take about it is that nobody is focusing about the peace in Sierra Leone, which every one of us needs, regardless of anything. Sierra Leone is the only country that all of us have to go to. And we should do everything possible to bring peace in that country. Even we ourselves that live here, you know, we always think about our country because some of us have so much responsibility over there, family responsibility. We don't want any problem in that country. So why am I saying this? Is that the Honorable Kargbo is one of the members. I have never voted in Sierra Leone. I'm not a member of any party. I left Sierra Leone since 1977. I went to school in Bo and in Freetown. So I am not saying this on any partisan level. I'm only saying this because of the country, the peace, the the prospect of that country. The first point is Mr. Shilon or Lawyer Shilon, forgive me, is that
when
it comes to
call me. That's my name, Mr. Shilon. It's perfect.
No. I mean, yeah, the same judiciary Honorable Kargbo is crying with. It was not instituted by the Bio government. It was APC that instituted the judiciary. The constitution that they are talking about, it was APC that regime that formulated this constitution in 1991. You know, and all these other people, maybe with the exception of few, all the people that are still in those positions were all appointed by APC members. So for it to be a magic or something that everything has to be just changed, or the Bio government have just to conjure everybody to turn around against APC is unimaginable. And then to that point, Lawyer Shilon, I think Wunawe na the landed people na where we na common at them country then. I think say we are supposed to come together and form a membership and actually even revisit the constitution of the law. And maybe you guys put more input into that. Because everything Honorable Kargbo is saying that, the question that you asked him, what is the next step? If you refuse to go to court and you refuse to go to parliament, what is the next step? That country has to go on. So much.
Okay, so sorry, caller. Because we get the boss, I will get it 3 minutes.
I don't know if I can answer him.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. MP. Go ahead.
Yeah. Firstly, he said the country must go ahead. I agree with him. And for let the country go ahead, let ECSL publish the disaggregated data. For let ECSL publish results, not to crime. Not to crime, now the responsibility for public results. Then secondly, he said the current court now APC appoint them. I want to tell and say no, it's wrong. This Chief Justice, now President Bio appoints them. The Supreme Court judges there, now President Bio appoints them. Yeah? And waiting more frustrating, now they set up. Then they left Supreme Court judge, then go take other judge, we not to Supreme Court judge, Court of Appeal judge, then can put on a Supreme Court. Then they left the substantive Supreme Court judge. Remember, saying that case they Charles Magai get with the court. Charles Magai say no, una no go left court a judge when a Supreme Court judge because some matters then the way go na Supreme Court. Now Supreme Court judge they no more the shit on the. Not to Court of Appeal judge they go take or High Court judge they go take for go sit down na Supreme Court. But this government they left the substantive Supreme Court judge because they feel say a whole different opinion because at Supreme Court now vote then they vote. All the judges then they vote. Then go left a substantive Supreme Court judge, then go take appeal court judge, then can put them na Supreme Court for like can form a quorum. Where to me, not even, okay. They talk about the constitution. They talk about side way then they go against the constitution. You see? So not to tell this all they push blame, hey, this na APC court, not for APC appoint the CJ. Not for APC appoint the Supreme Court judges. No.
Okay, Mr. MP, I just make a little slight comment there with respect to the caller. What I understand and for say, I think you're right not to APC appoint the current judges there. But I think you make reference to the Constitution and that it was mostly written by APC and that APC put too much power in the hands of the president for whatever reason. And in fact, in the previous broadcast, and you're welcome to take me up on that, in my previous broadcast, I have always maintained that President Bio is what in law we could refer to as an incidental beneficiary of a badly written constitution. You see, so it just happened for Cam at the right time as president with all them bad laws there now constitution. One of the points I keep making, for example, when the constitution say there shall be census taken every 10 years, then Parliament go and pass a law again, say, but however, at the discretion of the president, he can ask the ECSL commissioner for letting conduct a midterm census. That should not happen. It's unconstitutional because go take statute for contradicting the constitution. However, they let that happen. So the actual thing.
Mr. Sheila, I interrupt you there for clarity for we viewers. Not to the president, they inform the ECSL commissioner. That 5-year rule, they under the Statistics Act. Now the
but I'm saying Parliament, okay, regardless of who comes up with it, there should not be any statutory law contradicting what's in the Constitution, period.
Exactly. So, that's it. Well, for clarity, it didn't have the Statistics Act. And that Statistics Act, they can all a 5-year census. It's discretionary. But your point is taken. So go ahead, sir.
I appreciate that. But these are some of the points then where they lead to the confusion we'll get now. So that midterm census, the lawyers should have challenged that. I agree. Again, the courts will not get confidence in the courts. But where else do we go? I think the courts' feet have to be held to the fire because we will make them get away with a lot of stuff. And I think we lawyers then for be a little more astute in constitutional law. Parliament is not supreme. Parliament not get absolute power for just pass any law where abridge the constitution. This is what we should realize. The Supreme Court of the land is the constitution, the supreme law of the land. It's not, Parliament is not above the constitution. So we need to take all the things into account. Go ahead.
Let's give the honorable chance to comment. There is something we will add to that. Yes, honorable.
I don't personally try the Supreme Court. I take a matter against ECSL for the introduction of PR system when we get single member constituency. And it's clear, even at the amendment of the Constitution, 38A1, it even talks say we introduce the PR outside constituency. They don't exist. But we get constituencies there now. Constituencies that exist. And the duration of the constituency not elapse. Because they can review them between 5 to 7 years. And parliament still they exist. The mere fact say parliament they exist, that means a constituency then they exist. I can't go now Supreme Court. Go with ECSL now Supreme Court. If we remember I don't lost the case, they don't find me back. So now Lord just they keep coming on the Supreme Court.
But
okay.
Mr. Honorable, the thing is we have to look for solution. This country will get for looks at the fault lies. I think you comment just now say there has to be justice or the Supreme Court need to be straightened out first before Parliament. I agree. But maybe one way for do them now for take away power from the president for be able for he can appoint, but not for be able for fire because we need to work on that judiciary day. Otherwise, we are doomed. We are not going to go anywhere if we not get a court system where we could trust. I don't know how we could do them, but we get for do them. You know, it's one of those things. We just can't leave it like that. It's not going to solve itself. So we get to start thinking about how to straighten out the court system. The court system is terrible. I agree with you. But if we not get confidence, because you're not going to get a true democracy with a non-functional legal system or judiciary, and the system not going to fix itself. But right now, if the president get the power for sack chief justice or for sack judges, all that they contribute to the corruption. So we therefore begin to think of, as we complain about how things are wrong, we have to start contemplating on how we will correct certain things to go forward.
Yes, currently, the president not get power for sack chief justice. The president not also get power for sack ACC boss. They have they get security of tenure. Where the constitution, where the act lead them. But now they see ACC boss, president sack him. Now they see the CJ them force them, say no, you forgo on this, you for retire. You see? So all of them things that they do inside the constitution. So the problem, well, I'm not saying yes, the constitution is not up to the tax. But even when you have some clauses then way up to the tax, then still they go against them clauses then they. You see?
Yeah, Mr. Vengat.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to go. I mean, I think we have a caller on the line. Let's see. Let's take the call first.
Okay, hello caller. What's your name? Where are you to call from?
Okay. Good evening again. This is Freedom Mustafa from Leicester calling.
All right, Fully, welcome.
Thank you again. Thank you
Yes,
again
sir.
for what another day. You know, the people always when they talk about peace. I think then they take one step backward because we all don't know they say peace in biggest bad partner, not justice. Where justice they no need for to talk about peace. But always they go to talk about peace. If they continue to do the wrong things, then peace not go do. Peace they prevail outside everybody then will look for your needs, then teach you fairly. Now they peace day. So then they just put them, put them. Because they always they come back for talk, say, oh, these things have been done before. I mean, are we not thinking of growing to change things? The way they talk about this presidency powers, so we don't talk about that over and over. It can only be when they amend the constitution. If they don't amend that constitution, the president is in power to appoint. Now you appoint anybody where you appoint now, he will do the job where they appoint them for do. So that is just a brief one. Honorable Osidoya, so this year, now possibly we don't the contract them privately since they make them I don't call them blind team body pan the APC, because some of us we don't care about the political parties, but this we saw it coming. I mean, they tell them through private conversation, they say, Mr. Man, if you not allow anything, they all they go. Now, Papa, I go to the show. And this thing was started right at the beginning of that registration. Therefore, don't do something. They say, Molo, no more. Hey, oh man, they say they can't verify. People are not verified. They say they go fed up. Hey, oh man, people are go to the show. You saw what they were planning to do. Una for don't care going people in a court long before, even though for una care going to court for that PR, they don't talk anything. But even for that registration, no, because the verification, they block the law. They say they verify for about 2 weeks. They do amigate for almost. They do it for I think 4 days. They say they for register people for 1 month. They do it for 2 weeks. So this not to think to me, not to think what happened. Just like that. This was a plan, something. It was coming. We saw it coming. So then they say they feel surprised. Me, I not feel surprised because I knew exactly. Because everybody knows if no more than say a genuine vote, you know, we need for this president to retain that in power. So they had to do something. And this one was there to do it. People then go and blame, say, oh, they know that this, that. No, the man says. Because if they give work, you say, I for do them the wrong way, and they resign. Why chance my guy they sack him after 1 month? Now because they tell him to do something, he say I'm not the one. It's not forced to do it. But somebody when they sit down there, they do anything, and that means so the honorable don't have to today. I have telling this, I have told him this on private conversation. Don't let this thing continue for go. Pauper has been in parliament brushing all the rules, all the one that come on the agreement them. Everything has been brushed through. Everything has been bulldozed. Then you allow them to go into election with that way. So for me, it's not a surprise. I think I just want to tell you this. I was saying it, I saw it coming, and this is exactly what has happened. But thank you.
Honorable, any comment?
Yes, I want to tell Brother Mustafa, thank you. Yes, you know, there are times again that the people in the state. When you stand for something, say this, pass them correct and before move ahead, and the people that you want stagnate the country. Everybody there are peace. We get war. We not get war right now. Already to work for, let them publish the disaggregated results. I don't know more we ask for. So if they can publish the disaggregated results today, we begin compare with your results. We're not going to parliament, you know the case. We go back to parliament. But only one the way they talk about governance, a government needs for gun, government needs for push, government needs for this, government needs for that. Then they talk about publishing the results, where they don't make people in ski at the time when they fix them up. So now some of our elections they gone. Nobody know foresee results. Then for just fix and announce. When I feel say democracy will continue in our salon. You see, so now we don't worry that the one or the. Now just disaggregated results we ask for.
Okay, Honorable, for a way forward, let me just put a scenario now. Let's say they publish the disaggregated result, right? We're gonna have 2 issues here. We'll get 2 results then when a key one. You get the one for the president, when a first past the post. A majority where the first round you get 55%. You get the one for the MP there when a PR system. Let's say they publish the disaggregated result and enough fitting with the final results we'll get for elections then. where one na PR, one na first past the post. Would you advocate for a rerun of them two election and they? If so, in I go want still go on the PR system for parliamentary election or for review the old one. What's in I'll do? Let's say it reveal the result, it prove in a point. Where would you go for?
Well, like I say, APC na an institution. The first thing we would request for, now for let them publish the result. When they publish the result, if they're sure, say waiting them publish, now in then we RRF forms them. You know, then we they go to parliament. Nobody knows stop where they law no go to parliament. If we don't prove say waiting people then vote, now then they publish, we they go to parliament. We they concede. But if any disparity there between waiting and the publish and the RRF they will get, then now they will begin for sit down for talker. Oh, each day, then the party will decide back waiting what happen.
So in other words, if the second one where you say the second scenario, where proof say the result no correlates with what in a expect or waiting again an area for in a end boot for say waiting for doing so in a go back to the party hierarchy for decide the next move. Now that they tell we now.
No, in fact, when the producer, not to the party.
Yeah.
The party they watch a lot. We they go to the party. In fact, what say APC get youthful composition. Me myself na a member of the second highest body. Me na a member of the fourth highest body in the party. Me na a member of the second highest body in the party. Me na a member of NAC. So most of the institutions they are now all reach at them, but waiting at the way forward. So I'm just saying, if then give me the results, we go analyze them. The way we don't analyze them, we get technical people in the party, then go advise the party on waiting for be the way forward.
So in other words, there's a lot of uncertainty. Yeah, because now the way I see them, well, everybody, every meaningful Sierra Leonean want this issue for law come to a way forward. And also, as you say, and most other people say, law restore democracy. Let them not cheat people the right for select. Now that most of we concerned about. You know, let the wishes of the people be heard. So if we don't get down there, we get for the look at the way forward now. Because the way forward, people get different options. There are some people who are saying, well, there should be a rerun of the election supervised by independent body or like UN. There are some people who are saying, well, let's look at the situation where we look at sort of a government of national unity. So these are the two options. So what do you think? How do we go from here? Remove the APC Act now. As a Sierra Leonean like me, we all want forward. Where do we go from here?
Make very clear. Of course, I don't mean they talk with even APC Act. I mean they talk as a Sierra Leonean. Me, I'm a member of parliament. When I parliament today, then they begin to pay me salary. You understand? Eh? I get allowances then. But not to my own selfish desire matter in this case. Na shalom, na matter in this case. I'm not for be a party to the one that we want to destroy elections and democracy in shalom. So if they release the disaggregated data, they release them to the party. The professionals they analyze them. If they know say yes, waiting they release so, now in back we get, now in then give we from the polling stations. The next day we go to parliament. Only they say this chef. The next day we go to parliament. But if waiting a release, not to in we get, the party go take a position back. Because we not for be part of any fraudulent elections. We not for be part of anything we not correct. We not for be a party to them.
Okay, now you make it easy for me, yeah, because you don't give me two with me follow up. You don't give me two scenarios. The first scenario you say, if exactly waiting a release, now the right thing, then in the go parliament. The second one, if that to the contrary, the party will decide. Okay, let's start with the first one. I'll play devil's advocate now. If waiting a release, it actually reflects the composition of parliament, right? We're in at the go back. And the current parliament stands with the SLPP getting 81 members. APC, I think, saying I get 54. And as far as I know, the way parliament they work, most of the key committees then, like the Public Accounts Committee, which is something around question, because in England, while working at the British Parliament, the Public Accounts Committee is always headed by a member of the opposition. We're not saying that the case in Sierra Leone. That's one problem, because in Sierra Leone, the Public Accounts Committee is headed by the Deputy Speaker. You know, it's like physicians heal themselves. So they don't take care of all the committee then, and most of the votes the way they do in a parliament, na simple majority. So how you feel to say in a way will function within that environment? Bear in mind, you have the paramount chiefs then, we normally can take side on the government. So how you feel say in a will be effective if that is what happens?
If them issue the disaggregated data, then we can compare with the RRF they will get, ensuring at the same. You know, nobody waiting happen at the polling stations then and they are where they go. Because now the will of the people. You cannot subvert the will of the people. If the will of the people say APC forget 54 members of parliament, why we go subvert her? If the will of the people say SLPP forget 81 members of parliament, why we for subvert them? You understand? But we for prove them. Say yes now. So, and I'll tell you, of course, APC, we believe say the quality of members of parliament they will get, even at the 5th parliament, you go surprised for no say we get very strong members of parliament. You know, with most of them get their speciality in their various fields. And when it comes to debate, you know, when it comes to committee stage, when it comes to bill, they see quality. So we numbers we go represent the people, speak out the voice of the people, and I believe we'll be able to create that kind of impact. But we no go there if the results are not genuine.
Yes, I do accept that. I accept that. I just say I do accept that because my own concern is right is parliament, the effectiveness and the functionality of members of parliament. And because there are lots of things. The other two were honorable. I was very keen to look at because I remember say before parliament closed, they may change some of the standing orders there. They review the standing orders. And there are certain things that are the standing orders where I'm sure needs review. Because the standing orders now they do the rules and proceedings of parliament. I'll give you an example, because of course, based on my experience in the UK Parliament. Now, when it comes to statutory instruments, we don't see that statutory instrument here. Now they use for past a lot of them laws them where like we used I don't know if we get a call on the line before I go there. Controller, do we have a call on the line? If we have a call on the line, let him come in because there's something I want to continue the honorable.
Hello, caller. What's your name?
Yes, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm concerned citizen calling from Virginia.
Thank you,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you, Honorable Kargbo, to be part of this program. We appreciate it. Mr. Kargbo, I got several questions for you. My first question for you is, let's go back to the swearing in. The swearing in, my understanding with any legislator or parliamentary body in the planet, if you do not swear in, you're not a member. You have to swear in. For example, if you elect a president, if the president don't take that swear in, that president is not a president until it's sworn in. And it's the same thing with Parliament. You speak about the Speaker. Of course, the Speaker, when I get for vote in the Speaker first, the Speaker must be sworn in. It's after the Speaker is sworn in, that's ending now the Speaker actually is the one that's supposed to swear all of you guys in. Right? It has to be at least in the seat before Parliament take any function. That's my understanding with parliamentarian anywhere in the world. And part of my second question is, you talk about when they ask you about the court system and or the parliament system, you talk that the court now enforcement need for change. I disagree with that. You Parliament, you make the laws. You have oversight over the courts. It is you that have oversight in every aspect of our government. It's you that make the laws. And I think this is the biggest problem. It's because Parliament have given so much. They have given so much of their duty to the judicial and to the presidential. And until Parliament itself is either parliamentarians don't know their role or choose not to do their job. That's what I think. Because you guys have oversight in every aspect of our government and our life. That's why we elect you guys. Right? And part of the problem again in our country, and I agree with the gentleman, the both hosts. I think the biggest problem in our government, in our problem today, is Parliament. Parliament must do their oversight, and we will encourage una go na Parliament. Now the only place that they will una go yobu represent una people then, because you're not just representing APC, Mr. Kargbo, you're representing the whole area. So you need to go and represent your people. We need to pass this. This where we're at right now. This is not working out. And my last question that I have for you is, since how many people did you guys have people in every polling station in the country? Number one, if you do, the data that you guys have, why won't you release it to be transparent? You accusing ESL and everyone else for not being transparent. Why won't you release it to the public and to the rest of us so we can see the data? Let's be transparent. Thank you.
Okay, la answer I am quick. I'm not waste time. The first thing he talked about, MPs that were not swearing. They're not a member of Parliament. I don't let her read. She sometimes then can firstly for read the Constitution. For be MP, for be president, now two different law, now in governance. Now two different situations. You get president elect, but you not get MP elect. Yeah? Let her read the Constitution. Then I go to 83. Section 83 of the Constitution says, every member of Parliament shall, before taking his seat in Parliament, take and subscribe before Parliament oath as set out in the third schedule. But look this, he said, but a member may, before taking that oath, take part in the election of a speaker. He said a member may, before taking that oath, take part in the elections of the speaker. So you not member already, even when you not take the oath. Even when you not take the oath, you not member. Now I make the constitution say, but a member may, before taking that oath, take part in the elections of the speaker. The way you go also 79, who say now they will elect the speaker. The constitution back very clear. It talk about getting a two-thirds of members of parliament. You see, it's a two-thirds or simple majority of all members of parliament. Look here, I say provided the proviso where they na section 97.2. It says 97.2 say a speaker shall be elected by resolution. A speaker shall be elected by resolution in favor of which there are cast the vote of not less than two-thirds of the member of parliament. It said provided that if these three successive resolutions proposing the election of the speaker fail to receive the vote of two-thirds of members of parliament, the speaker shall be elected by a resolution passed by a simple majority of all the members of parliament. So how it will refer to all the members of parliament? It not say to members of parliament who have subscribed the oath. It say of all members of parliament. So the day you are elected, you are a member of parliament. Not on the oath they make you a member of parliament. Yeah. So for be member of parliament is different than for be the president. So you not go compare the two. Then secondly, you say now parliament they make the law. So parliament get oversight over the judiciary. Parliament, judiciary, and the executive now three different arms of government. Where parliament make law, how the judiciary will interpret them, now so then they interpret the law. Not so the parliament they tell the judiciary how to interpret the law. In fact, if parliament confused with certain law inside the constitution, parliament says they go to the judiciary for let them go interpret the law for them. I will tell you a case of Guy Labor, Sheikh Kamal, and others, John Smart, and others, where they dismissed the parliament because of absenteeism. Where the Supreme Court turned them back. He said no, because una go against the standing orders of parliament. The standing orders of parliament clearly states where una they form the committee on absenteeism. Now the speaker for be the chairman. Una not pick the speaker for be the chairman. Una pick Honorable Guy Labor when a SLP MP for be the chairman. The parliament law say where una they form the committee, you forget the rule of natural justice. Give everybody a fair hearing. Let everybody get written and they say. But una not call the members that way una penalize so una pull in a parliament because una not hear them. It says so una go against the rule of natural justice. So at the end of the day, waiting and do the Supreme Court turn the decision of parliament. So Supreme Court now then sole responsibility for interpret the law where parliament they make. Like you now another illustrative example. Now Nigeria, parliament passed a law, say that for clear the streets of Nigeria of prostitutes. So every prostitute then for clear the streets of Nigeria of prostitutes. So now next then they go and arrest prostitutes them. But these prostitutes, they been there na in house, in window. They wear in short skirt, they wear this, not on streets they been there. But then go arrest them. In court, when you go na court, waiting the court interpret them. The court say no, they not say let them clear the corner them. Not to in our OCD. The court say na the streets them for clear. So not to the streets they been there. So they went against the law for let them go all and at the corner way been there. So they fear. So the court get in your moral obligation for interpret the law where parliament they make. Sometimes they not of the spirit where parliament they use for make the law, the court they use for interpreter. But now they own sole prerogative. Parliament not they interfere with that. So you should know that they're very loud and clear. Yeah? Then also, una all where they talk say, let government go before, let government go before. Hey, law will do this, let peace day, let will go further. Una all not the ask ECSL, where they answerable to the people of this country. Because I will tax their money and then they pay them. Why una not they ask ECSL for produce the disaggregated results? Why ECSL not make people then see the results? Why ECSL hide the results from the people of this country? Why ECSL not make the polling agent and see waiting and collect? Why ECSL not make the international observers and see waiting and collect? Why they hide them? That should be una concern. Not to hear una pull on your result. Now APC responsibility for pull results. Now APC na ACSN. Una pull the disaggregated data. Now we compare because we are not to secondary. We are not to primary. Now secondary. Now secondary information we get. Now we compare and see. Yeah. So if I can answer this call and this I get for tell.
Okay.
All right.
Before you go, I don't know if we get other caller.
No, I don't think so. Do we? Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from? Hello, caller.
Hello, yeah, Mr. Shalom, Abdul.
Okay, Mr. Abdul. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I'll make a submission, then I'll ask a couple of questions. I'll just make them quick. I thank the guest, meaning Sekuna, invite for come raise them concerns and let the public know waiting at the issues and we then raise against ECSA. About my questions I get for one, the disaggregated result or the pooling, the tallying center, because that is the bone of contention. The that time we do to 2018, and because according to it say because of the by-election, then they do then we test that. When I want person they do I make me the project that is coming, everybody made it see. Then the second question where I want to ask, waiting at the criteria for let you be eligible for be a Supreme Court judge. Mr. Achilo, you said we'll throw light on that. Waiting at the criteria. Is it by the number of years we don't do that the court system now you will be eligible? Or is it just from the High Court or is it from the Appeal Court? Because I remember in the mid-80s when the pressure casting appoint Sheikh Mohammed Kutubu as Chief Justice, there was that uproar again. Say Mohammed Kutubu from the Appeal Court in Pulam, where they make a Supreme Court. I think there was that. Mr. Mengot, you go know about that as well. Then the other question when I want to ask, with the stalemate now, when on a day, Mr. Abdul, when Supreme Court, when the Mohammed Kone not agree for yield to a demand for produce the disaggregated result. Well, you know me feel to say on a don't pursue the matter in a court where the court from the game direct of mandamus. I don't know if that's the right thing that. When the court from the subpoena, Mr. Kone, for let it go produce the result because then the international this are the whole world from the CM. If we don't produce the disaggregated result, we will not the request. We're not people to say when we don't go to the court, then we not do that because now the thing will be open trial. Let the court from it tell and say you're supposed to do that. Then thirdly, this I will make a quick. This is pertain to the 1991 Constitution. We not get strong institutions, and because of the faulty of the 1991 Constitution. You know, people say this is a time where una from don't go to Parliament, then una make una demand and strong for progressive electoral reforms we go benefit posterity. You know, people say una from don't do that. Now that's them questions in there I get. I go need your answer. Thank you.
Yeah, I think before you answer, let's get one last caller and then we can give for answer and then we can continue for not interrupt.
We're not going to take any more after this call.
Yeah, hold on after this call.
Yeah, good.
We just have one last call.
Lawyer, okay, I want to talk to Brother Kargbo. Will not be one of the best honorable in the past Parliament. Honorable Kargbo, welcome. But I guess on a few observations, what you want Honorable Kargbo to like to. Thank you. One, like what the previous scholars talked about,
APC asking Electoral Commission Sierra Leone for produce this segregated result, whatever they call it, and if APC be take that issue in a court, APC calling as a party for that result to be produced, and the court for that sanction Electoral Commissioner Salon for produce that result, which one for the longer wait? I know you can think about that. And again, taking that thing to court, if the court be take some decision, how for reform, electoral reform, like what Ghana did, like what Ghana did when Nana Kufuor and Muhammad stand, the sanction or whatever the courts make Ghana Electoral Commission become stronger. You know, if you say now a missing opportunity for Salon, and Honorable Kargbo say the justice of the Supreme Court, they say they're all na BO appointed. No, I remember say Justice Brown, Bramak still in the Supreme Court. Renan and others are still on Supreme Court. Can you tell me when we are they appointed on the Supreme Court? We were there previously before Mother BO came. So I hope, you know, Honorable man, when you talk, please be honorable. And again, I want to ask another question. Honorable, it is say, what is the way forward for APC now? What is the way forward if you not see when they go to court? And if you electoral commissioner, because the constitution not give mandate for APC or ask APC for lead and producer. There's nothing like that. So what is the way forward? If the electoral commissioner say, you know, go listen to a demand. Again, let me finish, please. Again, why APC not decide for going to court? You know, say when I get about either 1/3 or 1/4 member of parliament, they go ask the speaker for bring anybody, including the president, now parliament for questioning. Why would I not use that act? The past parliament. Why would I not use that act when I invite like CJ and others? And now why would I not go to parliament when I ask the electoral commissioner as alone for Ghana parliament explain how the election went on and the results? Why would I not use that provision? Who would I get? Because when I get more than that number, why would I not use that provision?
So I can answer now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Honorable, go ahead.
Firstly, if Una Seseki agree with me, most of the people away they suggest to log on a court, then they at the end of the day prove say they are SSC. They can't say the court will not trust them. We don't suicide the court, they rule against the constitution of Salon. Waiting constitution say we don't suicide the court, they go against that. So we not get any trust in the judicial system. But basically, let's answer the first caller in questions them, then I will come to the second caller. The first caller, they ask waiting at the criteria for let you be justice of the Supreme Court. And if you go now, section 135, subsection 2A of the Constitution, you go here. You for don't be 20 years standing. You don't practice for 20 years, you know, before ever you get right for being a justice of the Supreme Court. Then it say also the court will order ECSL for produce disaggregated data. Now, for the sake of the country, for the sake of the credibility of the country, for the sake of the democracy of the country, minus the court, American embassy don't ask for disaggregated data. Minus the court, British High Commission don't ask for the disaggregated data by polling station. Minus the court, the German embassy don't ask for disaggregated data by polling station. Minus the court, the French embassy don't ask for disaggregated data by polling station. Minus the court, the Irish embassy don't ask for disaggregated data by polling station. Minus the court, new don't ask for disaggregated data by polling station. Minus the cost, Qatar Center don't ask for disaggregated data by polling station. Minus the court, APC don't ask for published disaggregated data by polling station. Only the court no more ECSN they listen to. Why ECSN not go save their own integrity and the integrity of this country and publish the disaggregated data? Why? Why? And by every indication, people way basically SFPP convenient with the court. Because any SFPP policy we talk to, they say, una go na court, una go na court, una go na court, una go na court. You see? So it is scary. If all the international and local organizations and political parties, they don't ask for disaggregated data for police station, what is more than that for ECSL for do? What is more than that for ECSL for do? You see? And also, you say why APC parliamentary and they not go na parliament and go summon the ECSL. As we go na parliament with this number, it means we say don't accept taking ECSL it. It means we don't accept. Say, with Loko on our 6 MP we get. We don't accept. Say, the number of seats that we then giving a free turn, and we get. Because then they go. So firstly, before we accept this result, for Christ's sake, publish the disaggregated data by polling station. By right, we're not supposed to question ECSL for publish the disaggregated data. They be supposed for somewhere na the polling center. Somebody asked if that day now so it mean the be. Now so it always they be now all the elections the way it don't happen. Even the by-elections now so it don't be. 2018, polling National Center, then put screen where they show every result where they input to the data the screen. Any result where they input to the data the screen. Why ECSL for hide the result at this election? Why ECSL for hide the result? If we are truthful to our consciences, we for ask ECSL say, "Bo problem don't una police results now. Oh, una say una get so una don't do the district. Not so no more. Hey, una go na parliament. Una so you dey tell me say anybody where can read any kind of result, the other party get right for go na parliament with any kind of result. I like them not see the result. Now so una wale salon dey now. Una law use with conscience then. This is the only country we will get.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Mengot. We way past the end time. I think we don't keep the. So if you get any question or any comment, go ahead.
I think so. We'll get about 7 minutes more.
We do? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let me go back to. Sorry, Honorable, on this parliament thing. I think I'm a bit futuristic. I talk about because a lot of things in the way they happen in parliament. And one of the things that we me concerned about, and I will tell you now, and it happened at the last time. Now the statutory instruments, they are in the past statutory instruments, right? And you agree with me, our sources are the same. I'm quoting from my knowledge of thing where they happen at Commonwealth Parliamentary. When you get a constitutional statutory instrument, correct me if I'm wrong, because the statutory instruments will then use for bringing the PR system under 38A. It was a constitutional statutory instrument. And I will refer back when they try for bringing that PRD under the Electoral Act. With a constitutional statutory instrument, again for B, the owner should be on the proposer for getting majority. Where if they not get majority, then go to. And each statutory instrument forget an explanatory note. Also, my own concern with Parliament and the way they deal with statutory instruments, if you get a statutory instrument when not a constitutional statutory instrument, why should it be saying that the people that will object to the statutory instrument and they forget that two-thirds majority there? Because when that be the case, if the statutory instrument then meant for 21 days, it becomes law. I feel to say now bad way of passing the law now weekly. So I'll let you throw some light on that. And then 2 years I don't mention.
We get difference between statutory instrument and constitutional instrument.
Yes.
Constitutional instrument, now any instrument where they carry, we get dealings with it, we touch and concern with the constitution.
Which was like the PR system.
No, that's not the. I go explain. That's not the. I just defend with the constitutionalist. Now, when you
okay, no problem.
With the not the constitutional instrument. The statutory instrument. Now, when you can with any law we get for do with other law other than the constitution. So for statutory instrument, when you can lay them, for let you annul them, for let you say no, we don't want this statutory instrument. We don't want it at all. You forget 2/3 majority vote in Parliament for annul a statutory instrument. But for constitutional instrument, you will want them, now you forget the 2/3 majority. So the difference between constitutional instrument and statutory instrument are constitutional instrument, the 2/3 majority, the burden of 2/3 majority, they on you will want for passam. But for statutory instrument, the burden of 2/3 majority, they on you will want for annulam. Waiting SLPP do, where they no say the burden way of you passing a constitutional instrument, they on you will want for passam, then they come with constitutional instrument as statutory instrument. Because then they come with law them we get for do with the constitution, they come with a statutory instrument instead of constitutional instrument. Of course, it's clear. The PI system was to be a constitutional instrument instead of a statutory instrument. For statutory instrument, you want cancel them. Now you forgive the 2/3. For constitutional instrument, you want cancel them. You want approve. Now you forgive the 2/3. So mostly because they normally get 2/3 in the previous parliament, they came with laws that touches and concern on the constitution. But they come with a statutory instrument, we also not been good for the country. So
okay, now let me respond to you 2 things. Number 1, again, when APC been going to court for the PR system, right? Did they stress this point that the way they pass the law, let the court interpret how you process statutory instrument in the court? That's 1. Secondly, from my own experience in Parliament, even when it comes to ordinary statutory instrument, I feel to say a bad precedent for let you say because I saw the law say, for let it be say, now you were the opposer, now you forget 2/3 majority. And because of that way, it's very difficult. Now government can use, the government in power, we get a state capture, can use them for pass laws them where not fit for purpose or against natural justice. So I want to comment on those 2 things. And 1, should we continue for use that statutory instrument, that 2/3 majority on the opposer? And also, if the issue of the constitutional instrument where they for use for pass the PR, they use statutory instrument, was that issue raised in court during the APC petition?
Of course, it was raised in court. In fact, na me self go na court. I mean, I've been the number one plaintiff. Na me take ECSN na Supreme Court. And all of those were raised by Dr. Abdul Okonte and JFK. We are JFK. Of course, you know them two names, and then I renowned names them. Na the judicial landscape of Sierra Leone. You see, but like I tell you, our confidence in the court was eroded. It has been eroded already. You see, and also you talk about whether for annul statutory instrument, the two thoughts okay. Well, firstly, whether it's a statutory, of course, basically you get enormous experience on parliamentary system by the way they ask the questions themselves. You can be a whole parliamentary consultant.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Well, like statutory instrument not touch and concern on the constitution. The constitution, na the norm. So they don't want to let parliament change the constitution or touch anything we get for do the constitution by kalo. You forget 2/3 majority. And then they say, now we not to an entrenched clause. Because if you go to an entrenched clause, you need a referendum for change any entrenched clause in the constitution. Now any other normal clause you can change with 2/3 majority in parliament. You see? So basically 9. So like where we say, the constitution 9 for be we guide. 9 for dictate how the country for move further. So other than that, no problem. So we always bone of contention that even when the laws are there, people are not following the laws. People are not going by the law. You take them as Supreme Court now for nothing, bruh. Now for nothing. This has been our concern. This has been our cry.
Okay, finally, law finish now. Yeah? Now my last question. What do you think say? Because one of the issue we don't get, as I say, is that the 1990 was when we moved from a one-party system to a multi-party system. My colleague here, when a lawyer say there are lots of things in that constitution they say we're not supposed for today. Because normally all clauses in the constitution therefore be an entrenched clause. There are so many things there where they don't put there. As far as I recall, now 40 will not make attempts for review that constitution. And I was privileged to talk to the late Justice Cowan on constitutional review. Then this government. And also I was in Kenya when they reviewed the constitution. So you feel to say if they want to do good to a governance system, if both sides agree, say, we for look at the Cowan review and its report and come out with a new constitution and a referendum, will that help? Because me feel to say that is one of the problems we had. A similar thing be happened in Kenya when I was there. What do you think? How urgent is that? And how useful would that be in our governance system? When things talk about where they talk to now, you have an independent judiciary, and you get a judicial commission. The executive, we remove some of their executive powers and they let not please one man for hire and fire. Because funny enough, we get somebody who say the president now get 966 posts that we get for employ. So what thing will be your take on this? The urgency and the need for constitutional review and a referendum now get something where all man fit for purpose, using experts in Sierra Leone and experts from abroad. Somebody like me, I'm quite willing to be part of that process. So comment on that, sir. Now let's hear you now.
Yes, I agree with you all actually. The constitution need boku amendment, for make it up to date, especially with the kind of politics and the kind of dispensation we offend with, But again, quite apart from them amendment and the way the constitution needs. One question we for ask ourselves now: are we even guided by the current constitution we get? Will they go by? Will they listen to what he say? Will they go by? Will they go by the current constitution we get? Will they listen to what he say? Even when the laws are there, people go against them. You see? Because people feel say when they get power, nobody knows it. Because people feel say when they get power, nobody knows the check them. People feel say when they get power, nobody knows the check them. Nobody knows the listen to them. You see? You talk about referendum and the entrance clauses there. Yes, the entrance clauses, they're all in section 108, subsection 3 of the Constitution. Where you go there, you will see all the entrance clauses and all of them entrance clauses and they need referendum before you start there. You know. So like I said, the need for a new constitution is very much necessary, and also adherence to the constitution is extra necessary, because even if you come with the constitution where America is, if people are not ready for Falarana for nothing, it is.
Well, thank you very much. I hand over to Mr. Shilo now. Mr. Shilo, the baton is yours. We thank the Honorable. So if there anything before I may close the remarks.
No more comments. The Honorable really explained to we in great detail some of the things that we'll be curious about for understand the mindset of the APC party as a group. And so we get a better understanding now, and we understand the justification for no one for participating in parliament, as well as not to have filed some court actions. So we just hope, we just hope that the Honorable Kargbo would then go see fit for any way we will get to move forward. I am not one of those advocating peace at all costs, but the country need all the brain power for be able to move forward. So let's see where we go from here. Mr. Honorable, we thank you very much. We hope you could make yourself available. We've learned a lot from everything we do here. We hope next time if we need you, you go, please accept our invitation, and we thank you so much.
I promise you that next time I get an MP, I go hand over to now. We constantly go to engage in media now.
Okay. Anyway, Honorable Kargbo, what I will tell you is that I'm glad for the endorsement you give me. And as you know, with Salon, apart from being a transport engineer, I'm one of the only African we don't serve as a committee specialist at the British Parliament. I was a transport committee specialist in the House of Commons, and I'm sure there's a lot I can help the country with pro bono for how we go make we select committee and scrutiny committee and be very, very efficient. And I also been on giving service also to the police in the engineering side on traffic management. So I'm there to help Sierra Leone. We are here, and anytime you get me number, you can call on us. I will thank you very much, and I will say I can always let you spar with me other person, Ibrahim Tawa Conte. When Amawa will let for come back with Snaya. And we telling her thank you, we're watching her. We make sure say we all go do well for Sierra Leone. And as you don't agree, I'll recall you one-to-one on a private basis, because certain thing and they we're not all to go talk na jama. Mina fulatong and fuwe akomot. We know how they deal with issue. So thank you very much for gracing this one. And to all we listeners them, we telling her thank you in another area from we MP. And a very vast in constitution. I can always like where they quote their section there for me. So with that, we will say we'll continue the conversation, and to all and stay safe as the week they come. Let all man go about in business, and me now Victor Akumengot in a governance and parliamentary man, they say tata.
Thank you. Michel Bishop tata to me people that we don't need to be. We all want for let alone move ahead. And one of the things that we always follow move ahead now is ECSS. So if ECSS are ready for release alone, we dey move ahead. When I all go agree with me, say we're not going to say, any results that ECSL announce, for dance bar. What if they don't announce one member of parliament to get? Yes, everything, all the members of parliament. And I expect the one member of parliament for go inside parliament back for dance to ECSL. Then we not give the absolute right So EPSL for do waiting they want to do in our country. And people that sweat and blood nine and take for vote. So let them respect that vote. Let them publish the disaggregated data, how they each are the results where they announce, then we will take out from this. So once more, me na Honorable Abdul Kargbo, I tell you, thank you for the opportunity in Guinea. And I tell listeners and viewers them plenty, thank you. For we also they spending time for listening to me.
Thank you.